I'll give you my definition of marriage. I think marriage is a lifelong union between a man and a woman ordered toward the procreation and education of children, and as a secondary matter for the mutual support of the spouses.
You're basing that off of nothing.
Prove me wrong.
Are there same-sex individuals that have entered into a legal contract that the state recognizes as a marriage?
By definition, two cannot get married because marriage is a union before God, God of the Abrahamic religions. Boom, done. Because none of the Abrahamic religions recognize homosexuality. Cooked.
Well, two men cannot create a child,
But neither
women
can
cannot
infertile
create a child.
couples, and neither can, there are a number of couples that cannot have children,
Sure. So infertility sometimes occurs, and that's
and so
unfortunate.
does gay marriage.
Bruh.
Well, no, gay marriage cannot occur. I guess.
But you're asserting that without proof. We see that it does happen in that
No,
the
it
word
doesn't.
that we mean marriage.
You
and the
could
legal rights.
You could say that there's such a thing as a square ball. You could say that, but a
you're
square ball
asserting that
doesn't
it's a
really exist.
contradiction. Would you agree that people have been lawfully wedded in the eyes of the government, and those two parties are members of the same sex?
No, I'm saying that isn't possible. So laws can assert all
But you're
sorts of crazy
asserting
things.
that without
well,
proof.
like the law could say that a black person.
All right. See, this is what I would be saying at this point. And guys, I'm going to be interjecting here and there, like what I would say to this fucking pencil neck loser. I would simply say this. Marriage, pencil neck, is a religious institution, okay? It's a religious thing. So if we're going to go ahead and use a religious doctrine or a religious ceremony, which is marriage, then guess what? You can't bring in your 99 genders or your gay marriages or your lesbian marriages in, because religions, the three Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, don't recognize homosexuality. They don't recognize it at all. It's a sin. And on top of that, they can't get married. So you cannot sit there and use the term marriage for two gay men. Sorry, you guys don't qualify. Marriage is a religious institution, and religions forbid homosexuality. Cooked! Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Like, bro.
Welcome, punch!
Like, you gone. You lost the argument there. Because you want a marriage which is religious, and religion doesn't recognize homosexuality. Cooked. And see, here's the problem, too. Controversial take here, but you guys want to know how we got here into this fucking Looney Tunes of 99 genders, all this other shit? You guys want to know how? Gay marriage. Gay marriage was the beginning of the fucking end. Gay marriage was a slippery slope that led us into the fucking loony clown world that we're in now. Because just like feminism, I say, is the Trojan horse from which liberalism came. Because back in the 1960s, going back in time, if you go back in time to the 1960s, feminism was like, oh shit, you're telling me that we can have women and have sex with them and they make their own money and we don't gotta support them? That's lit! Let's fucking get these women rights. Everyone started running around like fucking clowns, you know, like, oh shit, we need to give these women everything that they need, bro. You know what I mean? Dudes were jumping in their cars, fucking, let's go ahead and get a birth control. Let's go ahead and give them rights. Let's go ahead and give them all the same things that men have. Holy shit. Scrambling, right? So what ended up happening was, through feminism, women were able to work, we had the birth control pill, etc. And then they assimilated to society as egalitarians equal to men, under an egalitarian doctrine. But what they didn't realize was, with feminism, women, when left to their own devices, what do? They pick the best men. So this ostracized a large amount of men from marriage, from sexual access, etc. Okay? So it ended up backfiring. They thought that they were going to get free love. No, nigga. The love is more costly now. That's what happened with feminism. Now, feminism, okay, I call it the Trojan horse of leftism/liberalism. Why? Because feminism, though sounding good and we're going to give women equal rights, woo! Feminism was a Trojan horse that they allowed to get into society from which everything else came. Civil rights, mass immigration, gay rights, gay marriage, etc. It all came through feminism, okay? Because we thought that we had this ideology that was super nice and we're being equal and we're treating women as human beings and we're giving them human rights or whatever else like that, which, you know, I can see that perspective. But everyone else and their mom came behind it. That's why if you look at affirmative action, DEI practices, what does it do? It gives benefits to everyone else except white men. Let's call a spade a spade. DEI is basically reverse discrimination towards men, especially white men. Okay? Now minorities are starting to get in there too, because DEI also starting to ostracize colored men as well. and prioritize minorities and women. So you have feminism. Feminism is the Trojan horse, brings in all this other bullshit. Then the gay rights come in. Then when the gay rights came in and we allowed them to get married, everything else went south from there. And I think gay marriage was accepted, what, in the early 2010s? Under Obama, if I'm not mistaken? So, yeah. So that's what it is. That is how we got to this point where we got these individuals claiming that two men can get married, when in reality, they really can't. You get a civil union, I think we should be able to give them civil unions. Like, if they want to go ahead and get, married and get the protections of marriage and the tax write-offs and all that, cool. Give them civil unions. Give them civil unions. But to invoke disrespect to the religions and say that they're married is, in Christianity, considered blasphemy, and Islam considered haram. I don't know what the term is in Judaism when they violate. But it's a bastardization of the Abrahamic religions. Anyway, let's keep going.
Isn't a human being, but that wouldn't be true. That wouldn't make it true.
But once again, when we get into this Aristotelian view of the world, that's an assertion. Would you agree?
You're bringing up Aristotle. I don't know. I'm not bringing up Aristotle.
Well, would you say
I like Aristotle.
that Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, in the traditional view of the magisterium of the Catholic Church, are a view that you use to base your worldview off of?
I am Catholic, but marriage.
Also, very interesting enough, we have some FBAs in the chat. Yo, question, why are you niggas here? Why are you FBA guys in here? I'll never understand why you guys watch my content. You guys are weird. Why are you niggas here?
Actually even predates the church. So I guess my view is your definition of marriage seems to get a little muddled. You say it's a legal arrangement of family,
yes.
but to say that marriage is a legal arrangement pertaining to family is circular. Of course it's a legal arrangement pertaining to family. I'm saying, what is it? When you say it's an arrangement that pertains to children.
No, it's a religious arrangement, and that's the problem. That's what Mike should have attacked him on. Marriage is a religious arrangement. It is not a legal arrangement. It's a religious arrangement that the state recognizes. You understand? That's the difference. It is not a secular thing. Marriage is inherently religious. It's just that the state recognizes it. And it is not afforded to gays. Sorry. You don't qualify. And that's what I mean when I say this bullshit about this inclusivity society that we have is problematic. Because now you're bastardizing religions for feelings.
Children. Well, okay, now we're getting closer because only a man and a woman can produce a child in principle. Now, of course, some couples are infertile, but just because, a human being, let's say, loses an arm doesn't mean that human beings only have one arm or might have three arms.
We're discussing what the component. And that necessary component doesn't come from it.
No. Well, I'll give you my definition of marriage.
Absolutely.
I think marriage is a lifelong union between a man and a woman ordered toward the procreation and education of children and as a secondary matter for the mutual support of the spouses.
But once again, when we say ordered to...
See, he fucked up there. And he fucked up there because he didn't frame religion as a religious institution. If he had framed marriage as a religious institution, this guy would be cooked. And that's the only reason this pencil-neck loser here even has the ability to say anything. He's saying it because Mike did not frame this as a religious situation. And if you don't do that, then you allow these weirdos to come in and just throw things all over the place. That's the thing with religion, right? Religion, there's a reason why they give you a Bible. There's a reason why they give you a Quran. There's a reason why they give you a Torah or a Talmud. I had to throw that in there, sorry. But all jokes aside, there's a reason why we have all this religious text. Why? This religious text gives you instructions on how things need to be done. Okay? And in these books, these religious books, these holy books, none of them observe homosexuals or lesbians as being able to get married in this religious institution. So that is why Mike should have framed it as a religious thing. Then this idiot right here wouldn't have a leg to stand on. So that definition he used is not good. And it's giving this idiot the ability to come in. And he's a Catholic, like he's a religious Catholic. Like Michael Knowles is the definition of a tradcon, by the way. Just so you guys know, when I talk about tradcons and how a lot of them are painfully blue pill, guys like Michael Knowles are what I'm talking about. Him, Ben Shapiro, etc. These guys, right, will sit there and bring someone in like a Nala who's a thought, right? Or when he's like OF girls, they'll bring them in thinking that they're going to change them. You can't change these women, bro. You can't. right? They're all frauds and they're here to make money. They don't give a shit about actually religion. It's all a grift. But these tradcons are painfully blue-pilled. And this is why, I'll be honest, I've offered Michael Knowles, we could have a debate on this shit. The red pill versus religion, whatever. But none of them want to do this. No one at Daily Wire wants to have this conversation. Him, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, etc. I'd happily sit at a table with any of them and debate them on this problem. But they don't want to because they know that, unfortunately, religion does not solve female hypergamy in 2025. It just doesn't. It doesn't solve feminism. It doesn't. It doesn't solve modernity. Because the problem is you're dealing with women that don't observe the Bible. You're dealing with women that don't observe the Quran. You're dealing with women that don't observe the Torah. You're dealing with women that don't observe any religion, to be honest with y'all. Or worse yet, they bastardize the religion and they only accept what they like from it and what they don't like from it. We've had women come on the show with a cross on saying that, oh, I'm not going to listen to a man. What? So that's the problem here. So I'm surprised Michael Knowles is not using a religion-based argument against this guy when it comes to marriage, because marriage is 100% religious-based. This should be a layup for him on this idiot right here. This guy has no ground to stand on. And Michael Knowles is a religious political commentator. He's a Catholic, as you guys know. His religion shapes a lot of his worldviews, which is fine. But I find it amazing that he's not using religion in the time where he has a debt to rights against this idiot. Anyway, carrying on.
Towards is to look at the world with these preconceived notions about things.
I'm not preconceiving anything. I'm just observing.
Let's go back one more time. Let's listen to his definition of marriage one more time. I want to make sure I didn't fuck this up. Hold on.
World
of marriage.
Absolutely. And that necessary component doesn't come from anywhere.
No. Well, I'll give you my definition of marriage.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is his definition.
I think marriage is a lifelong union between a man and a woman ordered toward the procreation and education of children and as a secondary matter for the mutual support of the spouses.
But once again, when we
100% correct. I agree with that. But why didn't he use religion? He should have said a union before God. Come on, man. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Come on, man. Before God. Then this idiot would be cooked. He can't respond to that. Damn it, man. Perfect definition, by the way. I agree with him 100%. But it's a union before God, man. Because once you bring God in and you make it religious, this idiot has nothing to stand on.
say ordered towards is to look at the world with these preconceived notions about things.
I'm not preconceiving anything. I'm just observing nature as it is. No, I'm just observing nature, and I'm saying that that's what marriage is.
But if we're observing nature, we see that there are same-sex couples. So if we go, we are observing
No,
things.
I'm not saying there can't be same-sex couples. I'm just saying there can't be same-sex marriage.
Are there same-sex individuals that have entered into a legal contract that the state recognizes as a marriage?
Sometimes the state gets things wrong, as I am.
Simple response to that, Mike. Yes, they're called civil unions. That's it. Yes, they're civil unions. That's it. Not marriage. Man, bro, they should have put me on this shit. I would have been cooking. I'm not even religious. I'm not even religious, chat. You guys know this. I'm not. But I would have cooked this nigga on this one. Get the fuck out of here. You have no leg to stand on. Marriage is a religious institution. It's a union before God between a man and a fucking woman. Done. You're cooked. Get the fuck out of here. God damn, bro. Yeah, bro, this would have been an easy layup, man. I would have cooked.
I'm arguing
But is that a
in the
yes?
case of
Is that a
same-sex
yes? That
marriage.
there are couples of the same sex that have been wedded in the eyes of the state?
Since 2015, the U.S. government pretends that two men can be married to each other.
But you're basing off of that nothing. You're basing that off of nothing.
No, I'm basing it off of the Obergefell decision from the Supreme Court. They're pretending. They're acting as if two men can marry
According
each other.
to you?
No, according to the Supreme Court and the Obergefell decision.
We keep using pretend as if things exist outside of the institutions that we make.
I'm just saying the word has a meaning, and I gave you a very clear definition of what I think it means and what statistically everyone for all of human history everywhere has thought it means. And you've given me this kind of jumbled description that keeps contradicting itself. And that's my whole point, is I think it is not possible to define marriage. I have nothing against two fellas.
According to who?
Prove me wrong.
Prove you wrong. Once again, are there couples in the U.S. that have entered into a covenant?
He fucked up there because he said it's not possible to define marriage, but he defined it. The other thing too is that he's making it amenable to interpretation, which is problematic. You need a static definition so that they can't budge, chat. Right? So he is making it fluid, which is problematic. That's what these liberals love, by the way. Oh, I'm sexually fluid. They like to use stupid shit like this. When you debate liberals, you have to have static fucking terms. By definition, two cannot get married because marriage is a union before God, whether it's a God of the Abrahamic religions. Boom, done. Because none of the Abrahamic religions recognize homosexuality. Cooked. But since Mike gave a good definition of marriage, but not specific enough for the context of this debate, it gave this idiot the wiggle room to come in and say, oh, well, no, it could be two dudes or whatever. But you have to have a defined definition. And then he kind of hurt himself by saying, oh, yeah, well, there's not a definition of it. Well, now you allow idiots like this weirdo motherfucker right here, this weirdo, see this guy, now you give him the ability to interpret it however he wants.
That society views as marriage.
Well, some people in society view it as marriage, but many do not.
But you aren't the ones conferring rights to society.
Right, but I don't think that the government dictates reality. I think that if the government came out and passed a law and said that human beings are people with 3 heads and 17 arms and octopus tentacles, and so we decree the U.S. government, that wouldn't make it true.
But who defines marriage?
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority.
God defines marriage, motherfucker. That's how you end that. Because here's the thing. If you can, right, Chess? So anytime you want to debate liberals, fun tip, use absolutes. And what I mean by that is when you're defining terms, using absolutes, especially absolutes that are attributed to religion, like marriage, etc., you have to use absolutes and use religion as your basis, because the liberal can't debate with you if you're using religion as the focal point and as the base of the argument. So in this case, can a man be married? No. Why not? Because marriage, by definition, is a union between a man and a woman for the purpose of procreation under God with the major Abrahamic religions. That is the definition of marriage. And I would argue that 95% of the American public would probably agree with that, outside of Looney Tune motherfuckers like that. Now, with that position, that's a strong position, this idiot can't debate me really. Well, yeah, marriage is defined by God. Cooked. Get the fuck out of here. That's how I would have debated this on this guy, and I would have cooked him just off that. Because liberals can't debate with you once you bring religion in. You understand?
Nice.
A pleasure to meet you.
Good job, man.
They told him good job. The fuck?
Close.
Hey, good to meet you, Mindy. Appreciate
Mindy,
you.
nice to meet you.
Yeah. Oh, my name's Mason, but
Mason.
good to meet you. Yeah,
I'm Michael.
Oh, gotcha. Wait, do you have a birth certificate?
Not on me, but I do have one.
You calling the Mindy trying to be funny? This fucking weirdo?
Okay, well, I can't confirm that your name's Michael until I see that birth certificate just as a defender of objective truth. But we can go more into the prompt speaking about marriage.
You could actually, if you have faculties of reason and you say, well, this is the sort of fellow who presents himself, in a credible way, and you've probably checked.
Yeah, it is objective truth. You know what I would have done if he did that? I would have pulled out my driver's license and be like, yeah, here's my name, dickhead. If I was Michael Knowles. This is my driver's license. So yes, that is objectively my name, you stupid fuck. That's what Mike should have told him. This is my name, and it's objectively true. What the fuck, bro? These people are stupid. Mike could have easily just cooked that nigga. And by the way, FYI, chat, just so you guys know, right? This is the first time I've seen this. I have not watched this video. So you guys are getting it real time like I am. So what I'm doing is I'm pausing it and giving you guys what I would do in a certain situation. That motherfucker said that dumb shit to me, and I'm Michael Knowles. I would have said, really? No, this is my name, objectively speaking. Here's my driver's license with my name on it. Shut the fuck up, idiot. Shut the fuck up.
With the producers here, they've probably verified that I am who I am. So a reasonable person would be able to know who I am.
That is more performative characteristics? Is that what you're implying? Is that I'm able, with my faculty of reason, to assume that I'm speaking with a man in front of me? And therefore I can just politely go with the name that you're presenting to me, almost as an act of respect?
No, I just think that I wouldn't have gotten in this building if I weren't really who I say I am. So
okay, gotcha.
that would be my deduction.
Well, bring it back to the prompt.
Going back to specifically same-sex marriage.
You said you argued from an anthropology? That's like your basis of...
Yeah, men and women are
reason for this?
different, and marriage involves one of each. Yeah.
Which specific culture are you referring to? Because we have so
All
many
of them.
cultures that have communal relationships in which people are raised. When you said in the act of procreation, have you ever heard of it takes a village to raise kids? That's not something that's just a saying.
No, I
that
didn't say
actually happens literally in specific cultures.
No, but when I say procreation, that's the act of creating the child. And usually there aren't 3 or 4 people involved in that. It's usually 2 people.
Yeah, but even those people that do create the child, oftentimes were referred to as different genders depending on the culture that it is that you're observing.
Which
So I
cultures
recognize
are you referring to?
We could talk about the Mayans. We could talk about certain Amazonian cultures.
Well,
I recognize that they're not Western cultures, so you might not prioritize them.
what
but
was
that doesn't
their-
mean that
Yeah, and they also don't exist. Stupid. They don't exist anymore. I wonder why. Because they have this backwards thinking like you do, and that is why they got conquered by the superior fucking Spanish and the Europeans. All right? Absolutely got cooked. So, yeah. Nice try, stupid.
they don't exist.
What was their?
unfortunately.
Well, they no longer exist, the Mayans.
Oh,
but-
right, because of
but-
colonialism. I'm glad that you're
But
justifying it, though.
what was their view of gender? What specifically
Gender
are
is
you
something
referring
that's
to?
specifically a social characteristic that we're all performing in right now.
Yeah, and that's why them niggas got conquered, dummy.
Stupid.
I mean, you can't say...
no, I'm not.
Niggas using a conquered civilization of people to rationalize his dumbass argument.
I'm
back to our
not
original
asking. I'm not
interaction.
asking your opinion. I'm asking what you brought up. The
It
Mayans.
wasn't
What did the
my opinion.
Mayans think?
That's just something that is...
But what did the
observable
Mayans
fact.
think? You brought it up. You seem so confident about this. What did the Mayans think about marriage and gender?
We can talk about difference in the way that they are recognized.
Can
depending
we?
on
I
what
don't
the
know that
culture
you
is.
know the difference. You said there was a difference, but you haven't explained how there was a difference. And I think this is what people do a lot.
Is this prompt specifically on the Mayan anthropology?
Okay, I'm trying to drill down. When you say there are different understandings of marriage throughout history and time and space, I say, okay, maybe that's possible. How? Tell me. Point to the examples. And you said, well, the Mayans. And I said, okay, well, what did the Mayans think about marriage? And you don't have an answer. And none of these people have answers because everyone has... Do you have an answer?
People can look up right now. If you're right near a Google, yeah, exactly. Right. Michael's trying to hone me down on trivia night right now.
No, I'm just
right
asking
now,
you to
we're trying to
explain.
talk about specifically our examples.
I'm asking you to explain the point that you brought up. And so what people usually do is they say, well, look, I'm sure that there were all different types of marriage throughout history all over the world. And what I'm telling you is, there actually hasn't been.
So you're telling me that a Catholic priest are the people who created like a certain ceremony within the Mayan culture? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that if you want to listen, I'm happy to tell you exactly my
I'm
point.
listening. Ears
Okay.
are open, Michael.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mindy.
For all of
So he comes in, and because the topic is clearly, you can see it right there at the top of the screen, it says, there is no such thing as same-sex marriage. And this idiot comes in and uses the Mayans, but can't even explain how the Mayans viewed marriage to substantiate his argument. What a fucking idiot. And he did that to come in and, disrespect Mike and call him Mindy. And that doesn't even, I don't even think that doesn't even connect with him to insult. Like, bro, this dude is deflecting all over the place, obfuscating from the topic at hand. Fucking ridiculous. How are you going to bring up the Mayans and then not know how they viewed marriage, you fucking idiot?
Stupid.
What the fuck?
For all of history, everywhere in the world, until roughly 2001 in the Netherlands, every single culture, every polity has believed that marriage is the union of a man and a woman, ordered toward the procreation of children.
And
that's what it has always been.
You're saying that's the specific objective of what marriage is?
That's what-
for thousands
no.
of years, marriage has been used for property transfer. That's what marriage
Marriage is also used for the mutual support of the spouses, but it is in principle ordered toward the procreation of children. That's what distinguishes it from other kinds of relationships. So
Would
I
you
think
say that there's an aspect where love is important, that's specifically within this current culture? Would you say that you love your wife?
I do, but now
You know what's funny? He mentioned that it was made for property transfer. But what I would have done, I would have stopped them right there. Property transfer between whom, though? Oh, a man and a woman, right, dummy? Like, he's not even able to substantiate his argument. Oh, well, marriage was really originally put for property transfer. Okay, but that doesn't refute the fact that it's still between a man and a woman, you dumb fuck. God damn, bro. Dude is stupid.
Okay, well, that always hasn't been the case, specifically when it comes to things like
There are
arranged
plenty of people
marriages.
today who don't love their wives.
That's absolutely true.
I suppose the difference here.
As I just mentioned, that love has not always been something that's recognized, and even in some couples right now.
We love people in relationships that are marital and in relationships that are not marital. We sometimes don't love our spouses. We sometimes don't love people who are not our spouses.
I think the point of what this conversation is, Michael, is we're seeing different motivations in which people actually get married.
But I'm not asking about.
And now he's using love. What does that have to do with the argument? The argument is there's no such thing as same-sex marriage. Refute the fucking prompt. And he can't do it. He can't do it.
It doesn't have to be specifically for the procreation. It doesn't have to be specifically for property transfer. And in some instances, it can just be the union of people who care about each other.
Okay,
and that's the fixation and the obsession of same-sex couples.
I care about
just what's so weird, specifically when conservatives claim to be big, strong men, cigar salesmen that are out there presenting this certain image. It's weird how you're focusing more on gay people than oftentimes gay people focus on gay people.
I'm not focusing on anything. I'm not the one who changed the definition of marriage.
You came in here making the claim, hey, all of these marriages that I'm seeing are not legitimate.
No, I'm saying they're not marriage.
Hurts my feelings.
No, because that's just not what marriage is. Like if you told me that there was such a thing as a square ball.
Yeah, the ball that we're referring to is a yellow ball and a green ball. It doesn't mean that the ball is square.
Now I think we're confusing our analogies. The reason one can't have a.
See, he's trying to, bro, and this is what they do. They try to fucking move the goalpost, man. This is absolutely ridiculous to watch because he doesn't like that words have meaning, okay? And this is the thing, actually, with these fucking woke radical left. They don't like that words have fucking meanings and definitions, okay? They don't like that shit. And he doesn't like or want to accept that some people simply don't qualify for marriage. Some people's arrangements, some people's, relationships simply don't qualify as marriage. And he doesn't like that. Because the problem, right, with these idiots is they contort reality and they contort definitions to fit what makes them feel good. You understand? Well, I feel like a woman, so I am a woman. No, you're not. Sorry, you're not. That is what the left does. They change the definition of terms to make themselves feel better, as you guys can see right now. He doesn't like that Mike doesn't accept marriage between gay people or same sex.
Square ball is not because one has an animus against square balls. It's because it's in the nature of spheres and squares that one cannot simultaneously be both.
The fear isn't seeing a gay marriage and saying, oh, boo, oh my God, I got scared. The fear is, oh my God, my rights are being taken away, or the institution of marriage is degraded, specifically because we're expanding it to people who also love each other.
It's because even in principle, two fellas can't make a baby. That's the difference.
As we mentioned, there are people that are infertile that you wouldn't say their marriage is any less legitimate, specifically because they can't.
In principle, their marriage is inclined toward the procreation of children.
That's not true. Because we just talked about there were certain instances where marriage is used as a property transfer. It's not for procreation.
But again, it's also used
any of his marriages were illegitimate.
I would because I'm a Catholic, but that's a separate issue.
Gotcha.
This is the issue. I love my buddy, right? I love my Aunt Gertrude. I love my cousins, but I'm not married to them. I have lived with roommates. I wasn't married to them. Many people have slept with people who are not their spouses. That doesn't mean they're married to them. Marriage has to have a definition that is different from all of these other kinds of relationships. And
of course, that weirdo is like, ugh.
The only one that anyone throughout all of history until roughly 2001 in the Netherlands has ever come up with is that it's a union of a man and a woman inclined toward the procreation of children. And also it so happens that children are raised in a much better way from a man and a woman.
This is a specific motivation that you continue to reiterate and parrot. That is just not true if you look at various examples.
Yeah, examples that you couldn't provide, by the way, dumb fuck. Again, the definition of marriage excludes same-sex couples, because the definition of marriage is contingent upon religion, which religion does not accept same-sex marriage, so you are cooked. Get the fuck out of here.